In that respect, I'm glad that Congress is poised to take action that will enable millions of students and families across the country to breathe a sigh of relief about the student loans they need to borrow for the upcoming academic year. Everyone, from every sector of the country, will tell you that the key to our future is education, higher education, that we cannot be competitive in a world economy unless we have the best educated students in this country, that we cannot be the powerful force we have been in the world unless we have education. The key is, for so many jobs today, is going on past high school into post-secondary education. And yet, we are days away, unless we act, doubling the loan interest rates we're charging on students. There's been quite a bit of stalling tactics for months. I hope that those tactics are over as the July 1st deadline approaches. I hope we are soon to take action to prevent the doubling of the subsidized Stafford loan interest rates. And I'd like to thank Leader Harry Reid for his tireless efforts to negotiate a bipartisan solution. I also want to recognize and thank three other individuals that were absolutely critical of this effort, were really leaders without equivocation, with deep conviction. That's Chairman Tom Harkin of the Help Committee, who led with vigor throughout this effort. Senator Sherrod Brown of Ohio, who has been committed to this effort. And also our colleague in the House of Representatives, Congressman Joe Courtney of Connecticut. They have been extraordinary. Last January, Congressman Courtney and I introduced legislation to permanently extend the law that makes college loans more affordable for millions of students across the country. President Obama called on Congress to address the student loan interest rate hike in his State of the Union address. Back then, many Republicans scoffed at the idea. In fact, they voted for budgets that assumed that the interest rate would double, and they did that without any apparent equivocation. But thanks to students and families across the country who raised their voices and made themselves heard, my colleagues got the message. Fixing the student loan interest rate matters. It matters a great deal. It matters to individuals trying to build a better life for themselves. It matters to parents whose dream to give their kids a chance at a better life depends on being able to afford college. And it matters to our shared economic future because the single most important investment we as a nation can make is to educate our young people. So thanks to groups like Campus Progress, USSA, the U.S. PERC, the Young Invincibles, and the Rebuild the Dream Coalition that pushed this issue to the forefront where it belongs. The letters, the emails, the calls, visits, bus tours, and campus rallies made a difference. We should soon be voting, I hope, to keep this student loan rate low for another year at least. However, it's important to remember that this is only a temporary short-term fix. Now we need to develop longer-term solutions to the growing burden of student loan debt, the rising cost of college, and the need to improve higher education outcomes so that students complete their degrees and get the full benefit of their investment in education. These are tough issues, but we have to address them head-on. Our economy and our future depends on addressing these issues. It's estimated, for example, that more than 60% of the jobs will require some post-secondary education by the year 2018. In 2010, only 38% of working-age adults held a 2-year or 4-year degree. We have a very few years to go from 40% to 60%. That gap represents the challenge we have in being a competitive economic force in the world. And certainly, if we're ever going to close that gap, we've got to make sure that we don't double the interest rate on Stafford loans as a first step. But as I suggest, there are many other steps we must take. We have to address the rising cost of college. The cost of attending college has increased by 559% since 1985. 559%, rising far faster than costs for gasoline, health care, and other consumer items. Keeping student loans affordable and interest rates low is one part of the solution. Providing more grant aid through Pell Grants and other programs is another. We need to call on institutions to do their part to keep costs in check. Yes, the college community has to rally around and has to think of innovative ways to provide excellent education at a lower cost, a more affordable cost. States have to play a role, too. When state support for higher education goes down, tuition goes up. And the crisis of so many states, real crises, difficult crises, has forced them to reduce their support for higher education. And the result, as I suggest, has been tuitions climb. And that's another burden that middle America and middle-class, middle-income families are bearing. Now, I look forward to working with my colleagues on developing a comprehensive approach to addressing the issues. And also to just say that I hope that we are on the verge of, at least for the next year, avoiding a doubling of interest rates on student loans. We've got a long way to go to ensure that every American with talent and drive and the skills has the means to go to college. This is an important first step. There are many more that we must take, and I hope we do that very quickly.